Michelle and I founded Community and Council Realty Group of Keller Williams almost 4 years ago now. And we came up with a singular tagline that simply says, "Feel at home." And the reason for that is, of course, we want our clients to feel at home. We want our team members to feel at home. But underneath all of that is this idea that the business we're in it's a personal business. Hey, my name is Ryan Graham. I've been in the business for nearly 20 years, and I got into this business because I have a passion for helping people and working with others and building a great company and having a good time being part of my shared community and all of our shared community, and that's really what drives us forward. Today we're talking about our first home purchase, and Michelle and I purchased our first home in 2006 in this very neighborhood, Druid Hills of Atlanta, Georgia. The reason that we selected this neighborhood was, I think, a reason that a lot of people in Atlanta select the neighborhood. It was the walkability, a lot of the beautiful nature, like this park that we're in right now. We're very close to Emory Village, which is right down the street, and that was a hugely attractive thing to us about this particular neighborhood, but it's something that can be found throughout Atlanta.
When I decided to buy my first home, my priority was to buy in an in-town neighborhood, specifically Howell Station if possible. I found a home, but in order to live here and to be able to afford within my price range, I had to give up a lot of niceties. I had to buy an old home with outdated bathrooms and an outdated kitchen. In retrospect, suffering through kitchen renovation and outdated bathrooms was totally worth it because I'm still in the same neighborhood, albeit in a different home, but this neighborhood has exploded. There are great restaurants on the west side of town. There's a new big city park, and the Beltline extends over here as well.
My husband and I decided that we wanted to buy our first home. We had been living in a pretty happening part of town called Adams Morgan in a one-bedroom apartment, and we were getting sick of each other and wanted a little bit more space. We decided that we would go ahead and start looking. So we found a spot in a calmer, maybe more grown-up part of the District of Columbia, and we took out a loan. We were both on the loan. The interest rate at the time was probably about what it is now, 6.5%, 7%. And we were able to buy a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath townhome in DC, about 1,000 square feet.
We chose to sell our first home after being there for about 12 years because the market looked good for us. We had accumulated quite a bit of equity in the house, and at that point we wanted to move to something that had a yard. We were looking for a single family home. So having gotten equity in the condo, we put it on the market, we sold that, and we actually rented for a year or two so we could take the time to look for a single family home that fit our bill, something with a yard that wasn't in the city but was close enough to the city to feel like it.
You know, looking back on it, was it a good investment? Absolutely. But I was strategic in what I bought and, you know, what my plan was for that. I had, you know, several roommates living with me, you know, in the guest house and in the other bedrooms that I wasn't using myself. And, you know, so even while I was living there, I wasn't paying for my mortgage, or if I was on any given month, it was just a couple $100s towards it, which was great. And then, you know, I held on to the house for 10 years almost and sold it for more than double of what I bought it for. So yeah, it was a fantastic investment.
My husband and I bought our first home together in 2009. We got really lucky with finding a builder in an area that we wanted to be in a beautiful subdivision that I had always wanted to be in. And the builder had unfortunately gone bankrupt. So our first home, we purchased a portfolio loan from the bank. It had gone into foreclosure, and it had been listed at $350,000, and we paid a whopping $188,000. So it was a no-brainer of a purchase. We really didn't have to give up much because we were very deliberate in buying in the bottom of the market. We had very little to work with as newlyweds, and my husband at the time wasn't making a whole ton of money, so we went through the process in a very frugal manner. Because it was a portfolio home, there were a lot of things that the house did not have that we actually had to install. Things like a fence, it didn't have an oven, it didn't have banisters. So there were quite a few things that we had to, it was kind of like an empty shell of a house, if you will. But the key was that it was a location and it was the most affordable home in the most desirable neighborhood. We bought in a city called Covington, where the Vampire Diaries are filmed, and in a beautiful subdivision called Covington Place, and it's on a golf course, and it had all of the things that we wanted at that time to raise our children.